Hello, everyone. Thanks so much for joining me here today as we get to talk about one of my favorite subjects, comic books. My name is Jose. I love comic books. I love talking about them and I love sharing them with you. Feel free to follow me on social media if you would like. Links are in the description below. I've also posted a link to the Marvel fan site that I have plot synopsis and character bios for this issue. Before I get started, this is a fill-in issue. It is scripted by Louise Simonson, but it's essentially a fill-in issue. Um, to allow, I guess, Simonson time. Um, I find it strange to do a fill-in issue during this time at Marvel, particularly when writers would just continue the story without really the artist, whether it's ready or not. But for some reason, they decided to do this. So, um, we are continuing our run on X Factor. I have a playlist started with number one. Actually, started with the Fantastic Four Avengers uh, stories that led to X Factor number one. Feel free to check that out. I also have an X-Men playlist and an X Universe playlist. So, um, X Factor 32 from 1988 battles the Avengers, but not really. But you're gonna see. Now, the best thing about this issue is Steve Lytle's art. He does the cover and does the inside. And Steve Lightle, rest in peace, from Kansas City. He so not too far from where I live. Um, he made his bones at DC Comics illustrating the oh my goodness, the superheroes, the Legion, yeah, the Legion of Superheroes, after Keith Giffen. So the title of the story is A Carbon Copy Avengers, and we have the real Avengers here with Iron Man. In This is it Ed Koch, I think, the former mayor of New York, and he is here with them on this is where Avengers Mansion was, and they are donating the land to the city and creating a park for the people. Now, there we see people that are being whispering here. These are whispers. Again, Steve Lytle's art is beautiful, and that's the best thing about this issue. So, Tom Defalco is the plotter. Louise Simonson is just scripting. Steve Lightle is our artist, and Bob Harras continues the editorial. Bob Harras would become Marvel editor in chief and will also become DC Comics editor in chief. So, here we go. So these people that are whispering, we're gonna see them soon. So here they are, and they're observing the Avengers, and they're all upset that all these people are not even worthy of the time of the Avengers, and they're weak and apes and this and that. And so they the photographers are and reporters are all asking the Avengers questions, and so they stay there, shake their hand and everything, studying them at close range. And so excuse me, so they leave excuse me again, and teleport or to their ship, which is right here. This is a nice ship. Again, Steve Lightle had been doing the Legion of Superheroes, so he definitely could do this type of illustrations. And so turns out that these are aliens. Now, if you don't recognize them, that's okay. They're aliens from excuse me, Thor's early or 70s adventures, I believe, before Simonson took over. And so they're going to become the Avengers, which is why it's called the Carbon Copy Avengers. Beautiful, again, Steve Lightle art. And so this is their leader, Lord something. I missed his name. Lord Zano. All right. And so they want vengeance on Thor. This is a nice little split of the of this. It just looks nice here. and Thor had defeated them and turned them into, or made them turn into trees, but they're now ready to have their revenge. And the guy pretending to be Black Knight finds another ship, and it's X Factor's ship. And for some reason, they decide, let's go deal with X Factor first. So they're reminiscing about the previous issue. Of course, the Beast was kissed by Infection, and he is not doing very well. And Iceman feels guilty about it. And Jean Grey and Cyclops, or it's Marvel Girl, but she's called Jean Grey so much that I just forget about her code name here. So they're talking about that they have to wait on that search for the Cyclops' baby, and in case something happens, and Cyclops just basically says in case he dies, and like my brother and Maddie, like everyone I love dies, and my son, my baby's out there somewhere in danger, and I'm helpless to stop any of it. Number one, people know how I feel. This is all his fault. Cyclops is a jerk, and he doesn't deserve happiness. The character doesn't, because he's a jerk. So if you wondering why he's a jerk, I have covered that very many times, but he abandoned his wife and child to go try to get back with Jean Grey. So anyway, so they see Thor approaching, and here they go. And so we're basically going to have a fight between these. And so he plants this device here. And so that teleports the other Avengers in there. So the kids are here. And I love it that they look like kids here. And Boom Boom's is asking who was using her record as a pizza tray. They're called the Crippled Puppies. And so the ship closes them down because they were ordered by X Factor to keep them safe. And of course, here we go. I'm going to skip a lot. This is going to be kind of a bit of a short video because there's really not much that happens. And I will basically cover the important stuff. So look at this. We Want Your Death. Steve Lightle's art is gorgeous. I think he really should have been offered a book. Now, he did some covers for Classic X-Men, which were bangers. Absolutely awesome. So, good cover artist, but I feel that he would have done really good in a monthly or even bi-monthly, even if he just gets six issues in a year. I think that would have been great. I think this guy is really good. Was really good. Again, rest in peace here. So, all right. Here we go. So, a fight. Kids want to help. Rusty said, or not Rusty, Artie figures out that they're not real because the real Avengers are still talking, and Dr. Druid never smiles. And that was made into a comment before. She's like, ship, let us out. And Boom Boom is going to let him out, since the ship is refusing to listen to them. And so they're going to go and help. And here's one of the aliens. This is, I think, Lord's whatever his name was. And so here we go. Iceman thinks it's the real Black Knight. So Cyclops hits him. And I don't know. It doesn't matter how they transformed here into this big guy here, but he did. And so here go the kids, but the other door slides down and Rusty melts it, and so now they follow Artie. He can't talk, but he uses projections. And so he Richter says, "Hey, we really need to help. Ship, please let us help." And here we go. So they continue fighting here. Again, it's not the real Avengers. So the cover is a bit of misleader, but like I mentioned, it's great. It's great art, and so um, this is where Richter makes his big plea about helping. And so they take off the Cyclops visor. He can't open his eyes because he can't control his powers. But then here comes Leech, who no powers, and the kids help them out. So here it's like the Skrulls basically. It's like pre-Civil War, and so they realize that these are not the real Avengers, and so Boom Boom uses her thing to deflect it back to him. And so this part I will cover because this is sort of important here. And so we've got a rope person. It's Cameron Hodge. And this is the demon Nastri, who's going to be pretty important when Inferno comes. And so, hey, it's most unusual for us in Limbo to receive a call from your dimension. And so Cameron Hodge says, my organization has access to certain arcane rituals based on the notes of the 15th century mystic Belasco, who was the ruler of Limbo. Like I mentioned, I have an X-Men playlist as well. I have covered all those issues. I have an X-Universe playlist where I put everything in there. And so he says, Nastor says, why do you call me? And he says, you're a demon and you have power. I offer you my soul. And he says, I already have your soul. What else do you offer? And Cameron Hodge is like, what do you want to buy? And he says, the one I serve has ordered me to acquire certain infants from your world. Babes of power and purity to be sacrificed in an arcane rite. I'll tell you about this in a minute here. But I'm reluctant to leave my studies here at this time. If you could save me this onerous journey. And Cameron Hodge says, I know the location of many mutant children, including an orphanage that specializes in them. Until recently, my organization has allowed them to exist since these creatures might eventually prove useful to us. But a recent confrontation has convinced me that no mutant must be allowed to live. Those children are maggot thriving on humanity's corruption. I have ordered my troops to crush them. But if they could be of use, and so, whatever. He says, all right, it's a deal. I will protect you from total destruction at your enemy's hands. So, these babies that they are referring to is a 4-issue series that will precede Inferno that I hope to do one video on all 4 parts. So, instead of covering each video separately. So it's called The Exterminators, and that's coming up, and that will lead to Inferno. And this guy here, Nastor, will be very important to the heel turn that Madeline Pryor will have in the X-Men. So, also, this page does not look like Steve Lightle drew it. It's almost like Al Milgrom or something like that, because this art does not look at all like Steve Lightle. So this page, I think, was added on. Because here you see Steve Lightle here, and this is not him. So I think this was added by somebody else that was uncredited. Anyway, so they grabbed everybody here, and X Factor is like, it's kind of fun having these kids around. We're doing good work, and yeah, it ends kind of with a happy, I don't know. And so next issue, then Walt Simonson returns back, and we are going to continue our journey and heading toward Inferno. All right, X Factor number 32, Tom Defalco, Louise Simonson, and Steve Lightle. Good Lightle art. He doesn't do very many interiors, and we no longer have the chance of that because he's no longer with us. But yeah, that's it. So like and subscribe. I do thank you so much for listening. Goodbye.